Deep within the pines of northern America lies Graybrooke, a town most people forget exists. With less than 2,000 residents, it is the kind of place where everyone knows each other, where doors are usually left unlocked, and Halloween is the only night the streets truly come alive. That year, the festival was planned bigger than ever. Candy stalls, carved pumpkins on every porch, a haunted house set up by the high school seniors. Graybrooke loved its traditions. But what no one in town knew was that something else had arrived with the falling leaves. For weeks, children whispered about seeing a clown in the trees. Not a performer, not someone from the school. A tall figure in a faded suit with a painted grin, sometimes glimpsed at dusk between the trunks. Parents dismissed it as overactive imagination. After all, what harm could there be in an old town surrounded by endless forest? On October 28th, a teenager named Sarah Linwood was walking home from her shift at the diner. She cut through Miller's Grove, a shortcut lit by only a few broken lamps. Halfway through, she heard it, a laugh, low, rasping, too deliberate to be accidental. Turning, she saw him. The clown stood motionless in the shadows, face chalk white, lips smeared in blood-red paint, hair stringy beneath a dirty wig. His suit was once bright, but had dulled into sickly colors of rust and ash. He didn't move. He didn't need to. The way his eyes glimmered in the dark told her he wanted her to run. She did. When Sarah finally reached her front porch, gasping and pale, she swore she heard footsteps behind her, slow, dragging, almost playful. Her parents found no one when they checked, but in the dirt near the woods lay a single balloon, black and glossy, tied with twine. October 30th, the eve of Halloween. Deputy Mark Rourke was called to the scene at the old lumberyard. There, hidden behind piles of rotting timber, they found the body of Eddie Harmon, a local drifter. His throat was slit. But worse than the gore was the way his face had been painted after death. White makeup smeared across his skin, red carved into a grotesque smile. On the wall of the lumber shack, written in something dark and sticky, was a message: "See you tomorrow night." The sheriff tried to keep it quiet, but news travels fast in small towns, and by evening everyone was whispering. The clown in the woods was real, and he was waiting for Halloween. Despite the fear, the Halloween festival went on. Parents clung to their children, teens laughed nervously, and the smell of caramel apples mixed with the smoke of jack-o'-lantern candles. The streets filled with costumes, witches, zombies, and, to the unease of many, a few kids dressed as clowns. Emily Harper, a single mother, tried to shake off her dread as she guided her son through the crowd. But every time she turned, she felt eyes on her. She wasn't alone. Others complained of the same thing. Somewhere in the press of masks and painted faces, he could be hiding. By 9 p.m., the laughter of the festival had turned brittle. Too many shadows lingered at the edges of the street. Too many times, people swore they saw a tall clown slipping just out of sight. The sheriff doubled patrols, but the unease only grew. That night, Sarah and her friends dared each other to prove the clown wasn't real. Armed with flashlights, they crept into the pines beyond the fairground. The woods were thick with mist, the air colder than it should have been. Every branch seemed to snap too loudly, every shadow twisted into a leering face. Then came the balloons. Tied to tree branches, dangling in the fog. Dozens of them, swaying softly, each one a glossy black orb. At the center of the clearing was a wooden chair, and sitting in it was a clown mask, crudely stitched, soaked in something dark. The girls screamed and fled, but Sarah tripped. The others kept running, too terrified to turn back. When the deputies found her hours later, Sarah was gone. Only her flashlight remained, its beam pointed upward at a tree. A new balloon, red this time, with her name scrawled across it. The town locked down. Parents herded their children indoors, and police roamed the streets with shotguns. But Graybrooke was too deep in the woods, too cut off from outside help. Whatever lived in those pines knew it had the town to itself. At midnight, the power went out. One by one, houses fell into darkness. Phones rang with no voices on the other end, only faint laughter. In the glow of candlelight, figures moved outside the windows, sometimes one, sometimes many. Emily Harper clutched her son close as a balloon tapped against the glass. In the reflection, she swore she saw the clown's painted grin behind her. The screams began near Main Street. By the time deputies arrived, they found half a dozen bodies sprawled among the carnival booths. Each corpse had its face painted, smiles carved wide, eyes blackened. Balloons floated above them, tied with twine soaked in blood. The sheriff ordered everyone into the church for safety. Nearly the whole town crammed inside, candles flickering, prayers whispered. But as the doors bolted shut, someone realized too late. One of the clowns was already among them. Panic erupted. The killer moved through the crowd like a shadow, blade flashing, laughter echoing against the rafters. When the gunshots finally rang out, the clown was gone, slipped back into the forest, leaving behind chaos and corpses. By dawn, Graybrooke was no longer a town, it was a graveyard. Survivors stumbled out of the church, too shaken to speak. The sheriff lay dead among them, his badge smeared with red paint. Search teams scoured the woods, but no clown was ever caught. No one could agree on how many killers there had been. Some swore one, others insisted they saw several. The forest seemed to swallow the truth whole. Within months, most of the survivors abandoned Graybrooke. The houses stood empty, the festival grounds rotting. But every Halloween, travelers report strange sights in the pines. Balloons swaying in the wind, laughter on the breeze, and sometimes, just sometimes, a pale figure watching from the trees. Because the clown never left, and Graybrooke will never forget.